Hi, everyone. Welcome to the encore presentation of the 5 secrets to stop pushing men away so you can find love after 50. I'm so excited you're here on this encore call. Hopefully, it will make it all the way through, which was an issue we had the other night. So, just glad to have you here. I wanted to cover this topic in our training because this happened to me many times, and I know how awful it felt when I thought a date was going well, but then man never called me again. And I remember going out with a man to a really good restaurant in my area, and we had such a good time together talking about anything and everything. He even joked with me about how these women who never got second dates with him. So I'm thinking, oh, he wouldn't be telling me this if I wasn't going to get a second date too. He also told me about these wonderful kittens that he'd made a home for under his deck. And I thought, oh gosh, this is a great guy. Anybody that takes care of little kitties all year round has a big heart. That too, coming from a dog person. Well, this really touched my heart, and I was really, really excited that he said, I'm going to give you a call when I get back from out of town. But the thing is, he said he was coming back in a week. 7 days go by, and I wake up thinking, oh my God, today's the day I'm going to see him. That call never came. And I ended up reaching out to him and asking how his trip went, which put me in the role of the pursuer, which is a definite turnoff for men. And it makes you come off as needy and kind of desperate. Well, he texted that he was traveling again and that when he got back, I would hear from him. And of course, I did not. And when this happened, it was super painful. And I remember feeling so rejected. As a result, I began to second guess myself. And even worse, I started thinking, okie dokie, what did I do wrong here? I'd replay in my mind all of our interactions, and all I could come up with was really how great our date was. And I remember thinking, well, if this is true, why didn't he call me? Well, this sent me on a journey to figure out what was happening here and how I might be pushing men away. And in our training on this Facebook Live, I'm going to share 5 of these secrets with you of how you might be pushing men away. Now, no one ever tells us this stuff. And for sure, your friends, I know mine didn't have a clue as to why it happens and when it's happening, when you're pushing men away. Now, there are more than 5 reasons for why you might be pushing men away, and I wish we had time to cover them all. But I found these 5 are going to make your dating life so much easier. Hi, Karen. I'm glad you're here. You're so welcome. Also, these 5 reasons are going to help you see why dates may have gone south in the past. Now, before we get started, I just want to give you a little quick background on who I am as an over 50s love coach and dating expert. I've been a regular contributor to Huffington Post Women, the Tribune News Services. My articles have appeared in 60andMe, ARP, AOL, Yahoo, and Zeus. And I've also appeared on both ABC and Fox. My book, The Winning Dating Formula for Women Over 50 on Amazon, is a bestseller. And my site, Find a Quality Man, was named one of the top 5 online dating services and one of the 10 best senior dating blogs. I was also blessed to appear with Dr. Ruth on a Huffington Post Live. That was a hoot. And my Huffington Post article about the difficulties alpha females have finding love was mentioned by Katie Couric when she was interviewing millionaire matchmaker Patty Stanger on The Katie Show. I did not always know what I was doing when it came to dating. It wasn't until after my second divorce I realized I need help. I really do. And I decided to go and look for a coach, and there were none out there that were working with women over 50. They were all really young. They were like in their 20s and 30s, and I thought, no, they have no clue. So I called my sister and I said, oh my God, I am destined to be alone forever because I can't find someone to help me. And she said, Lisa, you're one of the most resourceful people I know. You are going to figure it out. And I did. I figured out what to do with men and how to get dates. And I was dating all the time. And my friend said to me, what are you doing? We're never getting dates. I started sharing some of this with them and they started getting dates. And then I came across a statistic of how many people over 50 were getting divorced. And I thought, I need to help women. I was pretty miserable when I was dating. I cried most of the time because I did not know what to do, how to get out of ruts, how to get a man to ask me out. I knew none of that. And so I began helping women every day over 50 get the tools and the support they needed because I didn't have either. It took a long time to figure it out. And I didn't want another woman to have to do what I had just done. And I'll tell you, I love teaching single women over 50 how to feel empowered in the dating game. I loved dating once I felt my own value and knew what I wanted and how to get it. My passion truly is taking women through a step-by-step process for finding love that's easy to understand and with tools and support that fits dating at this time in their life. Now we're going to cover some of these tools in this class right now that are going to help you understand what might be pushing men away without you realizing it. In fact, during this training, you're going to discover how this one thing you might be sharing on a first date determines whether or not he'll ask you out again. Why overgiving to a man turns him off and how it keeps you from getting a good man. And the exact tool that you want in your dating toolbox if finding love with a quality man is a priority for you. And so much more. Today, I'm going to share 5 secrets to stop pushing men away so you can find love after 50. Now, I'm also going to be answering your questions about your dating life at the end of this class, this training. So stay with me until then because I want to give you support and I want you to feel like what it feels like to get a next step that you can use right away. I'm also going to be sharing a great resource with you I know can help you find the right man for you. So let's get started. All right. Secret number 1 of how you push men away is over-giving to men. Is anyone here, right? Yes, if this is you. Is anyone here an over-giver? Do you find yourself just giving to men? Anyone here find that? This is my favorite water. A Tervis cup. And there's lots of it here, so while I'm talking, I have to drink. Well, let's talk about overgiving to men. We as women are nurturers by nature. We were sort of taught to be that way. It's a girl thing. Oh, yeah, I see some of you are saying, yes. Karen and Toral. Toral used to do that. Well, let's talk about the definition of nurturing. Nurturing is to take care of, feed, and protect someone or something, especially young children, plants, pets, and help him or her to develop. For example, she wants to stay at home and nurture her children, or she carefully nurtured a garden. Also, nurturing is to help a plan or a person to develop and be successful. As a dating coach, my job is to nurture you so that you feel supported with next steps and with tools to get the guy you want. That is nurturing. But how do we turn that around and become over-givers? Because we thought that if we gave enough to a man, he would feel safe enough to love us. We never, ever overgive without wanting something back. I guarantee it. It can be love. I know for me, with my second husband, not my second, sorry, my first husband, I was married to for 24 years, the father of my children. We had real June and Ward Cleaver roles, and he brought home the bacon, and I took care of everything at home. And because he worked like 12 to 14 hours every day, plus on Saturdays, half a day, I thought, I can't let him do anything. I need to do all this. And I did it because I wanted him to be okay, to come back and to be okay for me. The problem is it doesn't work that way. When we overgive, what happens is men can end up feeling controlled and emasculated. Now, there is one type of man who really likes this. He is a project, what I call a project man or a fixer-upper. So what is that? Well, a fixer-upper is a guy that's been emotionally or financially devastated, and he's looking for someone to come in and to really get him back on his feet. And at first he loves this. He thinks it's the greatest thing because he's not making decisions anymore. You're just taking care of it. But over time, he starts to view you like his mother, and he starts to feel smothered, and he will start pushing back. And then you get angry and resentful because you're overgiving and you're not getting anything back. Anybody relate to this where you're not getting anything back? And when you're not getting anything back, what ends up happening is you drain out and you become resentful. And he, on the other hand, feels he is just smothered, and he says, I'm done and out of there. Oh, yeah, there you go, Toro. Yeah, you do end up resenting men when you overgive. So what happens is he walks away, and you've redone a man and made him good for some other woman. So how much should we give in a healthy relationship? I would say about 60-40, meaning he gives 60 and you give 40. And this is really hard to do. If you're an overgiver, this is not easy to switch to and to do, because overgiving relates back to that nurturing thing I mentioned to you before. But I want you to really understand overgiving and nurturing are not the same thing. So I want you to start to pull back a little bit. Also, as you pull back, he'll come forward. When you overgive, you end up training men to stop giving to you, and that means your needs don't get met. All right, let's talk about showing up on a date with all your baggage, because that is secret number 2 for turning men off. And I just want to share a little story with you. A man I know, he was dating this really wonderful woman, and he thought she was wonderful. And he truly cared about her, but her baggage from her ex was constantly tearing up their relationship. Her ex had cheated on her, which made her suspicious of this man. So if he went out to lunch with friends or female colleagues, she would be really, really upset. And she would just constantly quiz him and make him jump hoops so she would feel safe. And what ended up happening was he just could not do this anymore. He just told me that she didn't trust him. And men, by the way, that is an honor code. A man needs to feel like you trust him. And if you don't, just move on. So because she couldn't trust him, because she couldn't trust her husband, it just ended up tearing up the relationship, and they broke up. And her baggage of mistrust from feeling that from her ex is what she was displacing onto him. And when you displace onto someone else, they're not that person. But it was really hard for her to trust. So let's talk about what baggage is. Baggage is what you bring to the dating table. And it is, when you're young, it's maybe your in-laws, it's maybe your parents. Well, it's not your in-laws when you're young. It's your parents. It's the way you've grown up and the values and the morals and the lifestyle you've led growing up. That's what you bring into a marriage. When you're older, though, that's when you're bringing in the in-laws. That's when you're bringing in the in-laws. Oh, wait a minute. Jenny, that's okay. There's plenty more here. You only missed the first secret why we push men away, and you can catch that on the replay, okay? I'm glad you're here. Jenny wrote, sorry, she didn't realize I'd already started. All right, so when we're younger, though, we're talking about baggage, and we're talking about how this second secret pushes men away. And when we're young, we come in with very little. When we're older, we come in with in-laws, maybe 2 sets of in-laws, your own parents, you come in with children from each of you, grandchildren, you come in with exes, you come in with a lot of baggage. And what ends up happening is that it all comes out. I'm looking to see somebody else for the comment. Oh, you're welcome. Jenny says hi to everyone here. If you haven't seen, I'm sure you will. All right, what ends up happening is, how does this show up on a date? All right, let me share with you what could happen. You've had a bad day with your ex. Maybe he didn't pay alimony, maybe child support. Maybe you're planning a kid's wedding and he's just being very, very difficult with you. And this is all boiling over in you, and you go on a date with a man. And what ends up happening is there are 3 at that table instead of the 2 of you, because you're sharing with him what happened, because you want a man's support to say that you're right, or to just wrap his arms around you and tell you everything's going to be okay. And what ends up happening is you're sitting across from a man you just met. Now, men love to fix things for you. They love to take care of you once they know you. When you put them in the position of doing this on a first date, you actually push them away, and they start thinking, wow, she is a drama queen. You ever read that in someone's profile? Not looking for drama queens? Well, this is when ex bashing really comes in. So he ends up thinking, I cannot fix anything for her. I don't know her. Now, later on in the relationship, when you have gone out a few times and you're starting to build that connection with each other, yes, then you can share some of your issues. On a first date, though, call your friend on the way to the date and just let it dump out with her. Don't bring it into a second date. Another issue that happens for many is that pushes men away with your baggage is comparing your ex, comparing the new man to your ex. So how does that look? Well, if you have lost a spouse who's passed away, it's really common. Because when someone is gone, we like to think of the good things about them, and we start looking for those good things in someone else. We can forget that there was some not so great things too. And even when you're divorced, because when you're in a relationship, you really all each become each other. You know, you just intertwine and link with each other. So even though you may have divorced, even though it may have been your ideal, chances are you're comparing him to your ex. Now, I remember I was on a date shortly after a relationship ended, and I'm telling you, it's really good to heal your heart before you go on a date with someone. Take some time before you get back out and date, because I remember thinking, oh my God, this guy would have done it this way, or he would have done it that way. And it just totally turned me off to the guy. And the guy might have been a great guy for me, but I'll never know, because I just remember pulling away from him. But men will pull away from you if you start saying, oh, my ex did this, or my late husband did that. So be very careful about comparing your ex to the man sitting in front of you. When I work with VIP clients, by the way, we end up creating what is called a pattern chart, which helps them see if they're repeating in their dating, if they're repeating the same types of men that they dated in the past. And you'll be surprised, most women do, because it's what you know the best and it's what feels most familiar to you. So it's not uncommon to compare a man to a past because it's what you're looking for, even if it's what you no longer wanted. Now let's talk about secret 3, and that is 4 behaviors we do as women that push men away. The first one is multitasking. So what does that look like? Well, have you ever talked to a man and been on the phone and you're folding towels and putting the dishwasher, the dishes into the dishwasher, or taking the dishes out? Anyone ever been doing that while you're on the phone, with a man? It's very irritating to a man. Men are single focused and they want you to focus on them when you're getting to know them. We as women are community oriented. So because it's about the community, for us to be on the phone talking with someone makes the work we have to do go faster. Also, if you start checking your phone while you're on the phone with a new man, here's what happens to me. I'm in a relationship, and my honey will say this and my sister will say this. I'll be checking my email, see what's going on, and they both say to me, Lisa, what are you doing? Men can tell that you've kind of vacated the conversation. And that pushes them away, and they think, God, if she doesn't have 20 minutes or 30 minutes to talk to me, bye-bye, and they walk away. The second behavior that pushes men away is being late. Now, a lot of women, as women, we can run late. I usually run about 5 minutes late to everything. I've been working on this, but for some reason, I just do. I think it's because my maiden name started with a Z. I used to sit in the back of the class, so nobody ever saw if I was late. They didn't pay attention to you back there. So it became my MO, but men don't like it. Now, if you're 5 minutes late, they do get that. They really do. But if you are going to be more than 5 minutes late, you need to contact him. Has anyone ever been late for a date? Write down, let me know what the guy said to you. You need to contact him. Always make sure you have his phone number and his first name at least. And by the way, make sure a friend has that too, so that you stay safe when you're out there dating and someone knows where you are and who you're with. But you really also want it for you, because if you can't find him and you have to call and say, which guy are you at the bar? I remember doing that. Or if you're late, you want to definitely, you want to let him know you're running late. And men will be okay with that as long as you then show up at the second time and they don't have to sit and wait for you for 30 minutes. All right, let's see. I think I had some comments here. Hang on. Jenny asked, aren't these things a matter of courtesy? They are, but a lot of people don't follow courtesy in dating because of the candy store effect of online dating. They think, I can just move on to someone else. So yes, it's good if you're doing it, it's good. Karen's, I texted that I was running 5 minutes late before the time hit, and he was fine with it. Yes, that was good, Karen. 5 minutes a man can handle. Maybe even 10. But if you are running over 5 minutes late, just out of courtesy, as Jenny said, just let them know. Most men will be fine with it. All right, the third behavior that turns men off is not appreciating a man. So men have told me over and over again that the thing they feel is totally underappreciated by women. And the reason for this is because they'll plan a date and they'll, do everything they can to make it nice. And let's say we don't like it. And we go, oh, that doesn't sound so good. Now, as women, if we talk to other women that way, they would say, yeah, you know what? All right, I'm open to changing it because it's always for the betterment of the community. But for a man, he thinks, I'll never do anything right. If she's already complaining about this first date, this is really bad, and I'll never do it right. And that pushes them away. And just not appreciating what they do, you're training them to stop giving to you because they think, I'll never make her happy. ever. And you don't want a man to think that. So always, even if appreciate a man, if he opens the door for you, just say, oh my God, thank you. I so appreciate it. I do that with men all the time. And you can really watch them smile back at you or watch their chests burst out, because men, when they're feeling proud, actually, they'll like inflate. Okay, the fourth behavior is not making time for a man or a relationship. Now, I hear a lot of women say this: I'm not going to date until I have the time, or I don't have the time to be dating all these guys. And what ends up happening is men contact them, and men want to get to know them, and they say, I don't have time to talk to you, sorry. And men go, why are you dating? And they're actually right, because truthfully, we will make time for anything, and I mean anything that is important to us. Anyone know what I mean by this? Have you ever thought, I don't have the time? Write your comment in if that's true. So when you're not making time for a man or a relationship, he thinks, nah, not staying here, because I want someone that's committed to getting to know me. And, if you decide to be exclusive. I have a friend, we were talking the other night, and she told me the guy she's been going out with for like 6 months now got really upset with her because she just refused to make time. And he said, it really hurts me. Now, he was not trying to be needy. They're in a relationship, and he just wanted to explore the relationship more. So make sure that you make time for a man and a relationship. Now, the fourth thing that turns men off is making demands in your profile. So a lot of women will write things like, I want a successful man, or I want a man who makes this much money, or I want to be taken to this restaurant or to that restaurant. And when men see this, they say, what they say is, I don't need this, because they think I have enough demands put on me, much less a woman I don't know telling me I have to be a certain way to do it, to date them. Another thing that men don't like is when you write, I am beautiful. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but you'd be surprised how many women write that I'm beautiful in their profile. So when you want a successful man in your profile, how do you write that? Because that's really what you're looking for. I'm looking for a successful man who loves life, or I'm looking for a successful man who's also active. You write it that way instead of saying, you have to be successful, you have to make this much money, and you have to do this and go to the gym. So making demands in your profile is a really, really huge way to turn a man off. Now, I want to stop here and share a story with you, because I think my last secret is the one that ended up getting me kicked off of Facebook last time. So I want to share something with you. And if for some reason when I get to that last secret, if we get disconnected here, then I will come back on, because I want to answer your questions about dating. But I want to share something with you first, a little story with you. When I first got married, I was 21 years old. And when we were that young, we were bringing together into the relationship that baggage, but also we were creating our own roles as part of it. And we were together for 24 years. We were kind of like Ward and June Cleaver a little bit, like I mentioned earlier, where he brought home the bacon and I did everything in the house. So what did that mean when I was doing everything in the house? Well, actually what it meant was I became very powerful, because I deposited the checks. I took care of repairmen. We were putting on an addition at the time. I dealt with that the whole time. And I knew what to do. I became very strong. In fact, most of you, if not all of you, are really strong too, because once you do get divorced, and many times in those marriages too, you were put in a role. You had to be strong. Well, after I divorced, I took about 1.5 years to heal, and I went out, I started dating, and I met a man, And we dated for 2.5 years. And I ended the relationship. He was not the right man for me. But as he walked out, he said to me, Lisa, I loved you and I still love you, but you don't know how to let a man be a man. And I'm thinking, he's crazy, because I do too know how to let a man be a man, because men always have, I've always gotten along great with men. I've always been able to joke with men. I've always been able to be with them. And it was never an issue. I was able to get along with men. So I thought, okay, I just chalked it up to he was pissed off with me for breaking up. Well, about 1.5 years later, I met my second husband. We had tremendous chemistry. This is not something you want to have, because you're missing a friendship when you have it. And you cannot see when you have tremendous chemistry. You are blinded by who a person is, and you mistake lust and love. Well, when that relationship ended after 2 years, almost to the day we got married, he too said to me, Lisa, you know how to let a man be a man. And I'm thinking, ooh, this isn't good. These are the exact same words I heard a couple years ago. And I did call my first husband, and I said to him, did I emasculate you? He said, no, but he said, I would never have let you. It's not that he wouldn't have let me. It's that we create roles when we're younger. We know what we're doing. And when we become strong, we roar into these relationships. I am woman, let me roar. And I did. The problem was I was so strong. I never even thought of getting their cooperation. I just thought I could do it better than they could, faster. Anyone else ever have this with a man? Type in yes if you do. Can't you have lust and love? Kathy asks. Yes, you can have lust and love, but when you have intense chemistry, what ends up happening is you mistake lust and love. I was in lust and thought I was in love, because as you bond with him, your heart opens up. And there was no friendship. And when there's no friendship, you can't get anything done. So that's what ended up happening there. And I truly did cut him off at the knees, because that's what I was taught. I could do it faster. I could do it better. So when he said, you don't know how to let a man be a man, I started thinking that was the time where I went looking for the coach to help me. And with no one out there, I actually was able, if you heard my story in the beginning, I called my sister. Oh, wait, I have someone asking. Karen, I wonder if I'm too independent at this point, and it comes across like I don't need a man. Yeah, it could be. That's really common, because I sure didn't need a man. When I look back at that second marriage, I think he was kind of like window dressing or something. I was doing everything. I was also making mistake number one. I was over giving to a man. And that was a huge thing. That was a problem. And when you overgive, a man doesn't feel needed. So good thought there, Karen. All right, so, I went looking for a coach, couldn't find one, and I ended up figuring this thing out about men and dating on my own. But the biggest thing I found out about men, it was shocking to me, because as I've mentioned numerous times during our training here, men need to be your hero. That's where they're at. Whereas women are community oriented. I never realized that men had to be my hero. I just thought that, I could be my masculine side self. And that is what I was projecting, was that masculine self, because that is how we were taught to be from the era we grew up in. And we forgot how we were going to get men to meet our needs. And I ended up doing everything on my own. I was overgiving, and I was doing everything. I did it in my first marriage and my second marriage. And it was not good. And I ended up emasculating and controlling. Well, I did figure out what made men tick. And the language men spoke and the language men heard. And that totally changed my life. Yes, I am an alpha female. Anybody else here an alpha female? Anyone else? Are you an alpha female? Oh, Karen, I did that too. To whichever thing I had said. Okay, if you're an alpha female, then you have to be really careful if you're dating an alpha male, because men do not want to compete with you. And I talk about all of this in a program called Understanding Men. I'm just going to spend 2 more minutes on this because I want you to know that everything I learned about men that got me the relationship that I'm with now, really is what I want to share with you, because it's going to help you feel empowered when you're out there in the dating world. And I know I was not getting second dates with men because I did not know how to let them be a man. And that was a huge issue. And I want to teach you how to let a man be a man. You're never, ever, ever a doormat. What this does is this helps you come from a place of power. We used to think it was our masculine power, but it's not. It's our feminine power that actually gets a man to come to you and want you. And I share all this in Understanding Men 101. I'm going to put the link in here. I hope I did the right link. And I want to tell you about these quick bonuses. Yes. Okay, Understanding Men. Is it coming up? I'm sure. Oh, wait. Yes, it must have just come up. Okay, Understand Men 101 is going to give you everything you need to really understand men. But also there's 3 cool bonuses I want to quickly share with you. Then I want to give you the 5th thing and answer your questions. All right, the 3 bonuses. First of all, you're going to get over 2 hours of great information about men. You're going to really understand men, like how single focused they are, why they answer you the way they do, why you can stand in front of them and cry and they can't see you, why you can come across sounding like their mother. Yes, we do. And I share all that with you in over 2 hours of sharing with you about men. I also give you 3 bonuses. One is a free report on how you connect with men. It's not a free report. It's a bonus in here. It's how you connect with men. I love this because when I work with my VIP clients, they say we work on the connection of how they've always connected with men. And it's all in this report. And they tell me, oh my God, Lisa, I could see the connection steps I was missing and why the relationship wasn't working. So that's a bonus that comes in here. And the next bonus is my top 10 tips for writing your profile, because I want you to have the right profile up there. And I give you some great ideas and great suggestions. And the best I save for last, because I love this. I love talking to people and women and answering their questions about love. And this bonus is called the Ask Me session. Everyone that gets Understanding Men, we're going to come together on a group call, and you're going to, on the phone, get to ask me questions. That's a big difference from asking here, where I can sort of tell you, I could definitely tell you an answer, but we're not talking back and forth. And on this call, we're going to be talking back and forth. So this bonus is $197 value, and those 2 reports each have a $97 value. So it's all worth like $331, but I want you to have it for $97. So all you got to do is go to Understanding Men go to findequalityman.com/men. And I put the link down there because I want to see you on that call with me. I want you to get answers. God, I used to date and I would cry because I just didn't know what my next step was. A lot of it had to do with men. And so, as you know, because we were dating them. So I want you to be able to come on that call because I want you to get your questions truly answered, much lengthier than here. All right, I'm going to, if you have a question about that, just put it over here. I'm happy to answer it. Again, it's only a $97 program. Let's see, Toro, can the training be taken at any time or is it live? I live in a different time zone. I think you're asking me about the Ask Me call. So what time zone are you in? I've forgotten. I think you've written to me before. You can send your questions into that and I can go into detail, or maybe you can get on the call. They're usually 8 p.m. Eastern time, and you can maybe get on the call through there is a way to come on through a computer if that's the issue, not being able to call in. But it's a great call. And a lot of women have gotten this so far, and I think you all are going to love it. But it'll feel like a small group. I don't know what time zone she's in, so if that comes up. Okay, so the last way that you push men away, and then I'm going to answer your questions, okay? So I'm actually going to change it because this, if you come on that Ask Me call, I will share it with you if you get Understanding Men. I don't want to get kicked off of Facebook again, so I'm going to change that the fifth way you push men away on the top of my head. And that is, let's see, because I want to change it so we don't get kicked off. And I promise I'll share it in that Ask Me call. Okay, so the biggest way that you turn men off truly is by emasculating them without realizing it. And I mentioned that before. So how do you emasculate a man? You emasculate a man by criticizing him. You know, we have this book that is like how to do everything right, even when we don't know how to do it right, because we actually want it done our way. Anybody know what book I'm talking about? Did you all ever have that? That book, I had a big one. Oh, you're in Berlin, Paris time. That's about 7 hours ahead. You might have to get up in the middle of the night, or you can send your question, and what I can do for you is just record the answer for you. And so you'll have a verbal thing you can listen to. You can also write to me and we could talk more about this off of here. Lisa@findaqualityman.com, because if you have some questions, I want to make sure they get answered in the Understanding Men program. All right, so let's go back to that book I was talking about, okay? So what is that book of how you can do everything? I know I had it. So here's the way it works. And we come across the second guessing or critical when we use it. So I was dating a man and he was an electrical engineer. He was renowned around the world, like Firestone and Goodyear would call them and they would say, could you come do these electrical projects and design them? And he wants to change my dimmer switches, all right? And I say, okay. And he goes and he scurries off and he buys the parts and gets everything together. And there he is with a screwdriver, unscrewing those dimmer switches. You know, the dimmer switches, he's got everything out. He's putting wires back together. And what do I, with my book, say to him? I say, are you sure that red wire goes with that green wire? Well, he put his tools down and he gently said to me, Lisa, if you don't let me be a man, I will never do another thing for you. So when we're critical of men or we're telling them what to do, how to do, and where to do it, we end up turning men off. And that's a huge problem we have. And we many times don't even realize that we're doing this because this is our community way. Like if I said to a woman, are you sure that wire goes there? She would say to me, yes, of course. I don't mind you asking, because they are about the community. And men are about doing things for you in a way and with an honor code that keeps you safe, protected, and provided for. All right, those are the 5 ways that we push men away. Now, does anybody have some questions they want to ask me? Just write them down there. And in the meantime, don't forget, you can get Understanding Men 101 for only $97, and you get that amazing Ask Me coaching session. Group coaching session is part of it. It's a value of $197, but you get it for $97. Okay, if you have a question about men or dating, I'd love if you write it down there. Oh, I think something just came, so hang on, because I do want to give you some questions. Okay, Jenny, it's just a personal preference, but I don't want to do online dating. So have you got any great tips for real-life meeting opportunities? Yes, I do. In fact, Jenny, I actually work with my group and private coaching clients on this. We have a huge, big segment. I've had women get married from it. If you want to know more about it, I'm going to give you an answer, but if you want to know more about it, because this could take like hours to tell you. Just write to me at Lisa@findaqualityman.com. I'll tell you what you can do, what kind of program would be good for you. But just to give you an idea, I had a client that did not want to date online. She hated online dating. She said, I don't take good pictures. Sound familiar, anyone? I don't take good pictures. So she didn't date online. I gave her this whole program called Meet Men in Real Life. And she ended up doing it, and she met her guy at a license bureau. And she did it by walking around the room or looking through the room to see if man was sitting by himself, and she struck up a conversation. Because in Meet Men in Real Life, I teach women how to flirt, and that's what she used. But to find men, here's a real quick tip for you on that, Jenny. Write out the alphabet, A to Z. So write that totally out, and then think about local places in your area that start with A, like airport or Applebee's or whatever it is. B, a baseball field. There are a lot of men on baseball fields. If you have kids or grandkids, get there, because those men are there too. So that'll give you 2 ways to get started. First, scope out a room, and if a man is sitting by himself, go sit next to him and talk to him. And the other thing is write out A to Z and find places in your area. And let me give you a tip on that. X, use X-ray, and K, use Kinko's. Oh, no. X, use Xerox. And you could put Kinko's in parentheses, because do you remember Xeroxes? We used to Xerox everything. I hope that helps, Jenny. You can write something else if you need to know more. All right, Kathy, once you have someone who is attracted to you, what's the next move to keep them? Okay, hold on. I'm going to tell you that. Get understanding men. That's going to really help you. That is the biggest thing that is going to help you keep a man. I know for me, it made the biggest difference. In my clients, it does, because you've got the secret to keeping a man is knowing how he ticks and what the language he speaks in here. So just to give you a taste of that, have you ever cried, stood there crying in front of a man and he doesn't notice you? He's like watching TV or doing something like that, and you're crying and you're testing him and you're saying, he doesn't care about me. It's not that he doesn't care about you. He literally doesn't see you, because men are so single focused. And this is one of the things I do explain in Understanding Men. That's the way you keep them, because you really have to understand what makes them tick. If you don't understand it, then you're not going to be able to keep them, because they'll move on. They need to feel needed. Somebody else wrote that up at the top about they're not sure they're letting a man feel like he needs to be needed. But there's all kinds of things that are going to be there in that program. So Kathy, does that give you at least a couple tidbits? Oh, Jenny, you're so welcome. I'm glad you like those ideas. And Kathy, did that help you? And anyone else, if you have a question, I would love to answer your question for you to the best of my ability, because I want you to leave this training feeling empowered and feeling lovable and empowered. That's my goal with women, to help them feel both in the dating world, because when I first started out, I didn't feel either. I was giving my power away right and left. Okay, anyone else have a question? Oh, wait, something else came through. Oh, Kathy, you're welcome. So anyone else on this training, if you have a question, leave your question here. I would love to answer it for you. I'm going to put down here again the Understanding Men link for $97. It's really worth it, because you're going to really understand men, and you're also going to get that Ask Me session, plus those 2 reports, how you connect to a man. It's like eye-opening when you know this, and also how to write a good profile. So, oh wait, I think we have something else here. Hold on. Oh, it was my thing. Oh, Toro, how do we balance flirting versus intimacy? Oh, good question. Intimacy is the S word, which got me kicked off the other night, so I'm not going to say it. And flirting is having fun. It's things like light touch and cocking your head this way and putting your hand and swashing your hair this way. And that is flirting. Does that make sense, Toro? Right, you can write that. And in the meantime, if you have a question about men or your dating life, please write it down. I'll answer it. I have a couple more minutes here. Anyone else have a question? Or Toril, you got this. Toril's all the way in Germany joining us, which is probably about midnight there. But anyway, men, once you really get how they tick, they're really very lovable. Most of the time, like before I understood men, I used to roll my eyes and go, oh my God, what is going on here? But once you get them, oh my God, they are wonderful, really wonderful to be around. But they aren't women. They don't think like women. And a friend and I used to laugh and we would say, you know what? We think we're really looking for men and no, we're looking for women in men's bodies because we think that men think like we do and they don't. And I do share all that with you in Understanding Men. Does anyone else have anything they want to ask? Oh, let me check here. Something just came in. Oh, Toril, are you planning to write more books? Oh, God, I'm so busy right now. I would love to write a book, another book. Is there some topic you would like it on? I would love to. I was thinking about doing a book on the deeper work I do with my VIP clients that really help women find love because we have a lot of blocks and fears inside of us. And sometimes we don't realize it. And that is the secret to unlocking how you can find the right guy is getting past those fears and blocks that hold you back. And sometimes we're not aware of it. I love this saying that goes, you don't know what you don't know. And it's so true. There's things we just don't know for why it's keeping us from finding love or anything else in our life. All right, anyone else want to ask a question? It's been so, if not, it's been so much fun being here with you. Grab your copy of Understanding Men before that Ask Me session bonus goes away because it's going to go away. You won't find it again for a long time. And that's just part of it this time because I really want you to have a chance to ask me on the phone where you can talk to me about your questions. All right, I think this is it. You now know the 5 ways you push men away. You know a lot of things about men when I was sharing you about Understanding Men. Go and use these. And make sure that when you're going out, you feel lovable and empowered and reach out if you're having trouble. You know, I'm here to help you. I help women all the time find the love of their life. Okay, I will see you then on our next training. Lots of love and hugs to you. Bye-bye.